You're not behind, you're not missing some skill that everyone else has. You're just reacting normally, I feel, to something that is in fact happening really, really quickly. Hey there, Kelsey Toner here, the founder of Guest Focused Tour Business Coaching, where every day myself and our extraordinary team of tour business mentors are helping you build a thriving, profitable tour business. Now, this video in our AI series is going to be a little bit different. We're not going to have a walkthrough or no demo or some new AI tool. I actually want to talk a little bit about the way AI is making a lot of us feel right now, and maybe some perspective after engaging deeply with AI and bringing this into perspective after 15 years as an entrepreneur. A lot of the operators that I'm talking to, including a lot of the ones who are further along with AI than most, are feeling some version of the same thing, where you're overwhelmed, feel behind, you're tired, definitely anxious. Like there's a new model every week, a new tool every Tuesday. Somebody's on LinkedIn telling them that they're already late. On YouTube and Instagram, there's people telling you there's people coming for your jobs. And I guess I just wanted to take a beat to say that, hey, I feel this too. As somebody who's spending a lot of time every week trying to keep up with the frontier models, I'm constantly second guessing whether I'm spending my time properly, right? Am I wasting time reading about the latest applications? A lot of mornings when I sit down to work on something, I find myself in a lot of doubt, being like, gosh, is this the right project to focus on right now? Is this task going to be something that's relevant in 6 months or a year or even 2 years from now? And it causes a lot of anxiety. And so I just wanted to take a beat to see if you can relate to that. I just wanted to say, hey, you are not alone. And by the way, it's a very natural thing just to be like, whoa, I don't even want to engage with all this AI stuff. It's easier just to kind of put the blinders on, ignore it. That's a totally normal response too. So basically, welcome to the club. You're not behind, you're not missing some skill that everyone else has. You're just reacting normally, I feel, to something that is in fact happening really, really quickly. And I'm not here in this video to tell you that, hey, I can solve this for you. I can't. But what I can do is give you the same perspective that I use when I have those feelings. It's kind of like a quick filter and reframing when I'm sitting inside of that feeling. And let me know if you find it useful. When I look back on the decade plus of being an entrepreneur, what I quickly realized is in that time, and maybe if you've been on a similar journey, the length of time doesn't really matter, but I'm betting that you've picked up tools and dropped them more times than you can count. There were email newsletter platforms that I swore by, or CRMs, customer relationship management tools that were going to transform and change the way we worked. We migrated to certain things. We migrated off of them. Social platforms where we built an audience and then watched them fade away. Project management tools, calendars, file systems, payment processors. If you're anything like me, you've probably rebuilt your internal processes or embraced new tools and change nonstop, right? What we used to do by hand, we did in a spreadsheet and then on a computer and into a database. What I used to do in a document, now we're doing with a piece of software. What we used to do in software, now we're doing with AI. And that's normal for a small business operator. If you've been in this a while, you've certainly lived this same pattern. And so AI feels different because the pace is faster. But what allowed me to kind of reground myself is that, hey, the underlying motion, the new tools coming, going, the processes that are getting rebuilt, that state of change is not new. We've done this before, and we can do it again. There's a couple of mentors that have shaped how I think about this. Brendon Burchard is a very famous sort of high performance coach, and he talks about overwhelm is actually a natural state of being an entrepreneur, where remind yourselves that there isn't a finish line where we suddenly feel caught up, or like, oh, hey, we did it, right? If you're waiting for that moment for change to stop, right? Or to, okay, I figured out all the problems in my business. And so knowing that actually helps me stop treating this overwhelm from AI like a problem that I need to fix, and start treating it more like the weather that I work in, right? It made me start to appreciate that, hey, I can't actually solve that. That's not in my control. But my attitude and my conviction that, hey, I can figure this out is actually what I hold on to. Another online business coach is Marie Forleo. And she has this great line, it might have even been a book, but she says, hey, when you're a business owner, one of the most powerful pieces of conviction that you should have is, hey, everything is figureoutable. And I remind myself about that a lot, not because it makes the hard things easy, not because the overwhelm necessarily goes away, but when I have those feelings, it reminds me that I don't have to have all of this figured out. And in fact, it's the natural state to constantly have to solve problems, figure out the right course of action, to make mistakes. That's a huge part of what we do every day as business owners. So if you've been following along in this series and taking the next steps with your AI brain and starting to marshal this new AI power that's in all of our hands, and if you really bought in that like this really is a transformational technology that is going to radically change the way that we all do business, it's really that conviction that makes the biggest difference, right? It's that, you know what, it's going to be stressful. It's going to be hard, but we as entrepreneurs, that's kind of what we signed up for. And you know what? What makes you special is that you didn't give up. We don't give up. We keep going. We figure it out, right? Everything is figure outable. So yes to faster pace and yes to probably more overwhelm than average, but it's really that same muscle that we've been using over the years. When that AI noise gets really loud, there's a couple great questions that you can ask. One might be, hey, what's just one project or decision? If I solve this, would make a lot of my other problems go away, right? Sometimes we're so focused on like in the weeds and, you know, we're applying Band-Aids to things. And we have a lot of power right now to ask that bigger question. Like, hey, if I figured this thing out, if I made that problem go away, would it actually eliminate all these other things to do, these tasks, these reoccurring things? So that's a really powerful question. The other one that I love asking is, what would this look like if it was easy? And that's incredibly powerful question when we've got this AI brain hooked up and we have a lot of the context from your business that we've been talking about in this series. A lot of times the changes that we're trying to implement in our business or the growth or the progress, there's a lot of friction that gets in our way. So when we ask that question of like, whoa, what would that perfect workflow look like? If I could just automate or get that thing off my chest, boy, would that make life a lot easier. Boy, would that reduce our costs. Boy, would that get me a lot of my time back. Another great framing if you're in that space of overwhelm. In talking with other friends who are engaging with AI, when a new AI tool or feature or model shows up in my feed, we were talking about these 3 questions before we dive in and spend a whole lot of time on it. So the question 1 is, hey, does this solve a problem, or could this potentially solve a problem that I actually have right now, or just a problem that I might have someday? This one kills a lot of the noise and allows you to not go down those AI rabbit holes that I know I've gone down, where I'm seeing certainly incredible potential, but it's not actually helping me make progress towards my goals, right? There's a huge amount of AI content out there about problems that most of us just don't have, or use cases that just aren't relevant. If the tool is solving someone else's problem, we don't have to learn about it right now. Another question that is great to ask is, hey, can I test it in under 30 minutes or an hour, right? If I can't get a basic feel for whether this is going to help me inside of an hour or so, then that's probably too heavy, right? Maybe I need to fit this into my prioritization. Maybe I'm going to put this on the shelf. Not today, right? And the third question is the switching cost reversible if it doesn't work, right? It really has to do with that. How easily can we test this solution, right? Can we do it in a sandbox? Meaning if we try this and it's a dud, you know, what are the stakes here? If it's a free trial, it doesn't take a huge amount of my time, it doesn't have a massive investment that goes along with it, then I'm much more likely to give it a shot, especially if I've answered yes to those first 2 questions, right? If it solves a real problem, if it tests relatively quickly, and if it's reversible, if it doesn't work. These are great criteria for testing AI with your teams and in your day-to-day work. So I just wanted to take that beat to recognize it, that, hey, you might sometimes watch a guest focus video or even in this series. And I just want to give you permission to use any of those filters that we did here today to acknowledge that, yeah, that feeling of overwhelm, we feel it here too. But hopefully we can gently nudge you, urge you to take some of these leaps, to push your comfort zone, even if it's something small, like picking one problem in your business this quarter, just one, right? More bookings, maybe less admin. Hey, can I get some of my time back so I can spend more time with my family? Whatever it is, then ask ourselves, which piece of this AI series might actually help me with that? Ignore everything else until that one thing is handled. You don't need to stay on the very cutting edge of AI. Part of what we're trying to do with this AI series is really showcase where you can get the biggest bang for your buck. Really empower you to, test out building an AI brain, because we've seen the potential. And this whole series has really been around doing something and taking steps that are tool agnostic. Because like we said at the start of this video, the tools, the technology, all of that will continue to change and evolve. We're encouraging you to build this AI brain because we see the potential to take the next step with AI. We could be making videos every single day. I follow some of those folks who are like, hey, here's a new tool, new feature. And it's just like drinking from a fire hose. And so our filter, I guess, for the AI trainings that we're putting together for tour business owners and tour operators and experience creators is that the bigger steps that you can take. This AI brain step is something that is really going to help you enter the next wave of productivity gains, the next wave of allowing agentic AI, potentially AI employees, and having AI tools do automated workflows and scheduled workflows for you while you are not at your computer. So no matter where you are on your AI implementation journey, I just want to thank you for being here. I want to thank you for your interest and thank you for engaging. And hopefully what you've seen is that a lot of this does come down to our attitude and our conviction as entrepreneurs. And I guess I just wanted to reassure you that you got this in spades, right? Don't let the speed of all this fool you. You have had that resilience. You have got that tenacity. You chose this life because you can figure stuff out. And so it's amazing to have you on this journey with us. If you would love some extra support in implementing AI, whatever that looks like for you, your team, and your business, more than welcome to book a call with us at guestfocus.com/book a call. We'd love to chat through where you're at with us and maybe help you get through any of those feelings of overwhelm that might be there. Before you go, in the comments down below, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. How are you coping with the speed and rate of this change? Any recommendations you have for all of us who are going through this together? Thank you so much for being here, and we'll see you in the next video.